What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or you know what, welcome to the channel if you're new, and if you are, make sure to leave me a subscription. What the fuck? We're off to a good start. So today we're going to be talking about one of the scariest things ever to me, and something that to this day still freaks me out. That is sleep paralysis. Now, sleep paralysis is basically when you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't move. You're simply stuck there lying in your bed, unable to move at all. During sleep paralysis, people get this feeling of dread and terror, and it's a terrifying experience, not only because you can't move, but also because of what you see. People claim to see shadow people, demons, and all sorts of other creepy things appear in their room, and these things can also grab you, touch you, and pull you out of bed, all while you're helplessly lying there, unable to move, unable to speak, unable to scream. But the thing is, the things that people see aren't actually there. And in fact, you're not even really awake while it's happening. You're only half awake. Let me explain. Now, sleep paralysis basically happens when you're falling in and out of REM sleep, which is basically the part of sleep where your brain paralyzes your muscles so you don't move and act out your dreams. And so during sleep paralysis, you're actually partially awake, just awake enough to know that you can't move, but you're still asleep and in a dream. And it's interesting because a lot of researchers will actually point to sleep paralysis as a reason for people who think that they were actually abducted by aliens. So it's entirely possible that these people think they were abducted by aliens, but really it could just be them experiencing sleep paralysis. That's crazy. That is wow. I never even considered that. And this also kind of points to a key difference between sleep paralysis and night terrors. Night terrors are probably equally as scary, but the thing is, we don't remember them when we wake up. With sleep paralysis, you remember everything. Now, it's said that sleep paralysis can actually be caused by a few different factors in your life, one of which being stress, another being a messed up sleep schedule, and also even social anxiety is linked to an increased risk of having sleep paralysis. No wonder I get it so much. Now, as someone who gets sleep paralysis fairly often, and by often I would say probably once a month, it's something that still absolutely terrifies me when it happens. You don't get used to it. It's equally as terrifying every single time. Now, just this morning I actually had sleep paralysis, and that was the whole inspiration behind this video. So here's what happened. I was laying in my bed, on my side, facing my door, and I saw someone standing there. It was just a dark figure, and I couldn't make out who it was, but they were just pacing back and forth at the end of my bed. So I just watched it for a minute as it was just continuously walking back and forth, like somebody who's extremely frustrated, you know? Then the figure noticed me and looked in my direction. And it stared directly at me. And there were no facial features. It was all just dark. It was basically like a shadow person. It just stood there and stared. And all in the meantime, I was trying so hard internally to get myself to wake up, but I just couldn't, no matter how hard I tried. And that's when I felt the corner of my bed sink down. And I realized that the figure was crawling onto my bed. And that is when I lost it. I literally forced myself so hard. You guys have no idea how hard I pushed to wake myself up. And finally I did. And I woke up, I was out of breath. I was sweating a little bit, and then I fell asleep a couple of seconds after. Now, honestly, that experience was terrible and terrifying at the same time. It was horrible, but it's actually, that was pretty light compared to some that I've had in the past. So for me, sleep paralysis started around the age of 13, and I started getting it on a regular basis once I tried lucid dreaming for the first time. Now, I'm not saying that there's any correlation there, but I just find it interesting that as soon as I tried lucid dreaming, I started getting sleep paralysis on a regular basis. Like I said, maybe no correlation, but I just think it's worth noting. And when this first started happening, I feel like the dreams that I was having were a lot scarier. And maybe it was because I was a kid and I was more easily scared and I didn't really know what was happening. They were intense. So the first time that I ever had sleep paralysis, I woke up laying on my side and noticed that everything in the room was off. Now this is when I was a lot younger, so the setup of my room was significantly different than how it is now. But basically I had a small box TV that would always stay on my dresser, and I had it there from the ages of probably like 8 to 15. Well, when I woke up, I noticed that that TV was laying on the ground. So I was like really confused for a second. I didn't know that I was having a dream. I didn't know what was going on. And then the TV turned on, and the TV played static, just loud and bright static coming out of the TV. And then I heard a knock at my door, and the TV shut off. Now through the reflection of that TV, I could see someone walk in my room and stand at the foot of my bed. Now the way my bed was positioned, I couldn't physically look at this person, and I couldn't move my body to look at them, obviously, because I was paralyzed for a minute. But I could notice this thing from the reflection of the TV. And I watched as it stepped forward out of the reflection of the TV and closer to my bed. Now at this point, I couldn't see it. It was out of the reflection, like I said, so I was laying there helplessly knowing that there was a figure literally standing over me at the foot of my bed. And that's when, from the side of my body, I felt breathing. Heavy, just disgusting, like almost animal-like breathing. And it was also at that same moment that I realized that I could hardly breathe. And it was like there was a pressure pushing on me from the side, from something that I couldn't see, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't scream. I couldn't even look. And I woke up from that experience and that dream actually like verbally screaming. Like I woke up screaming. And honestly, it shook me for life. Like that is still to this day what I consider probably the scariest dream I've ever had. Well guys, there are my scary sleep paralysis stories. Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys have ever had something similar like this happen to you. I actually did a little more research and found out that over 50% of Americans claim that they have had some sort of sleep paralysis encounter. So there's a good chance one of you have had one. Share your story down in the comments. I'm extremely interested to know. And guys, I will see you soon with another video.